Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the event soon. Just a gentle reminder, please switch your mobile phones to silent mode before we start. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Tan Ming Xuan from PU'ER, and I'm going to be your host for this forum entitled The Advantages of Traditional Chinese Medicine.
有时在这边聊。
First of all, allow me to give you some background information on the Infinitus company, which is the organizer for this forum today. Perhaps this is the first time some of you have heard of Infinitus, but I'm sure all of you have heard of the Roguski Health Products Group, which is the parent company of Infinitus. Roguski was established in year 1888, and to date it has 127 years of glorious history. And recently, the company has managed to reach a new height when its source went on board the Shenzhou 9 and 10 spacecraft. The establishment of the Infinitus Plaza in Hong Kong, worth ringgit Malaysia 2 billion ringgit, marked another milestone for the Infinitus company. This new office will serve as a hub for Infinitus China and its overseas markets, including Malaysia. To date, there are over 20 products being marketed in Malaysia, and there's more exciting products to come in near future. To ensure the quality and safety of its product, Infinitus has set up a scientific advisory board consisting of many reputable universities from all over the world, including Harvard University, Tsinghua University, and so on. And more recently, University of Cambridge has also joined in as one of our research centers. Before we start the forum, let me introduce our distinguished speaker for this afternoon. He is Professor Robert Koh Kam Ming from Hong Kong. He is currently the Professor of Life Science Division, Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and he's also a PhD of Pharmacology from University of British Columbia, Master of Biochemistry, and he has published more than 100 research papers and is also the Schisandrin B patent owner. And in year 1998, Professor Koh is named as one of the top 4 major inventors in Hong Kong. Now, please give a round of applause to
So, it's my privilege to be able to come to East Malaysia. I still can't recall the name of this city. Okay, and that's what I told the taxi driver. I'm going to East Malaysia, and to share with you some of my thoughts based on my research in Chinese herbal medicine over the past 24 years when I started working in the university in Hong Kong, and that is the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, which is a new university and only 24 years old. So I'm one of the founding members, and that's where I start my herbal medicine research. And this slide, I think, is the old slide, an old slide. And over the 24 years, I worked on the herbal medicine and published. Now it's over 190 research papers. Okay, So mostly on Schisandrin. And now we cover a wider area concerning about the basic theory of Chinese medicine, like what is yin, what is yang, and try what I aim to do is to bridge the gap between Chinese medicine and Western medicine in terms of the Chinese tonics, herbs. The herbs used for the prevention of health, okay? My focus is on the prevention because basically Chinese medicine can be divided into two big categories. One is for prevention. The other is for therapeutic treatment of diseases. There's many categories, different diseases. But if we go back to the prevention and make the story simpler, and that's my training in Canada when I studied pharmacology after finishing my bachelor and master study in the Department of Biochemistry in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And the reason why I got the scholarship to study a PhD in pharmacology in Canada because in my interview, okay, for the scholarship, I said, I'm going to study that pharmacology and then come back Hong Kong, go back Hong Kong to work on Chinese herbal medicine. And maybe the interviewers from Canada, they find wow, I have a good intention and motivation, and then grant me the scholarship. And as a result, I work in Hong Kong and for 24 years up till now. And today, I want to take this opportunity to share with a group of mostly professional people or people, audience with professional background to my thoughts, okay, how we would better use Chinese herbal medicine for preventing diseases, particularly the age-related diseases, okay? As all you know that the population is aging. I don't know whether it is the same in Malaysia, in Hong Kong, in China, and the Western approach in treating disease no longer working for chronic diseases because those drugs are not designed to deal with the chronic diseases. So how many drugs you can take? Many years ago, a pharmacist in Canada told me she start from taking one drug, okay, when he got the chronic disease, and end up 19 drugs. Because the first drug, okay, deal with one disorder and create some side effects. And then you take 2 or 3 more drugs to deal with the side effect. And eventually 19 drugs. That means this Western approach is not workable in terms of dealing with chronic diseases. So what should we do? Then I will share with you some of my thoughts today. Okay, aging is an unavoidable process, as I told the reporter today, just before this forum. Aging is not just a change in facial appearance. The worst is your body function decline. Okay? And the definition of aging is the increased chances of suffering from diseases. That means as you get older, the chance of suffering from disease becomes higher. And eventually, most of us will die of diseases. Okay? So that's the age-associated diseases. So when we look into history, we observe changes in disease spectrum. Okay? They date back 80 years ago or 100 years ago. Most people die of infectious diseases because there's no antibiotics at that time. we just suffer from a simple infection, you may die. So the average lifespan is around 40 to 50 years old. And however, with the invention of antibiotics and also the medical technology, new drugs. So now, what we are mainly deal with, or the disease spectrum of the people change. That means those suffering from infectious disease, they won't die. And eventually they get older. You get older, your machinery get rusty. And that's how you suffer from diseases. And those we call chronic and degenerative diseases. Okay, and that will come around 70, 60, 70, or 80 years old. Okay, just give you name a few examples of those chronic diseases. Diabetes, everybody know, is a disease of affluence. Okay, we eat too much, exercise too less, and on the top of diabetes, we call metabolic syndrome. Before you get a diabetes, okay, always preceded by metabolic syndrome. That is high blood lipid, high blood pressure, overweight, okay, all these chronic disorders. And Parkinson's disease in the brain, and neurodegenerative diseases. Why the brain? You will know later that if you understand what is the leading theory of aging, it's called free radical theory of aging. Free radical is chemical species derived from our metabolism, energy metabolism. That means when we generate energy in the cell, produce pollutant called free radical. And free radical will oxidize anything in the cell. And if you observe the brain, what does it look like? Something full of lipid, fat. And those lipids could easily be oxidized by the free radical. And that's why when you get older, okay, the chance of getting neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease is higher. Just because because of the free radical, and also Parkinson's disease too. And rheumatoid arthritis, lupus erythematosus, all this due to the derangement of the immune function. Okay, that's another aspect. Our immune system is one of the fundamental mechanisms to defend our body against invasion of microorganisms, including bacteria and viruses. Also, some abnormal cells inside our body that can cause cancer. We call this, in Chinese medicine, all these evils. Bacteria and viruses called external evil. Those cancer cells, internal evil. And all this could be dealt by the immune system. That means if you have strong immune system, the chance of suffering from infection, common cold, influenza, even cancer is less. And this already well recorded in a classic Chinese medicine book called 黄帝内经. It states that, okay, 正去内全且不合家且 evil cannot work on you if you have enough 正气. 正气, one of the 正气is the immune system, to guarding your body. So this already well known, okay, in Chinese medicine. But now in Western medicine, we know all these age-related diseases we have to work on because of the advancement in medical technology. People get older, and Western medicine, which is based on what we call allopathic approach. That means, according to, I study biochemistry, okay? The approach is, okay, you have a headache, the pain. I understand what caused pain, and then I give you a drug that can stop the production of that pain-causing chemical. Then it's a painkiller. Western medicine does not care about where the pain comes from. What's the cause of the pain? That's the problem. Okay? So, but in Chinese medicine, okay, say, oh, all this degenerative disease is caused by a systematic or inter-organ dysregulation or degeneration in function. What we can do is to boost up the function in a systematic manner, not just on a single organ. And then you can have a holistic wellness. That's the idea. Holistic versus reductionist. Okay? Site or cause or not cause. Okay? Symptom oriented approach. Okay. Well, we cannot deal with all this doctor or Western medicine practitioner cannot deal with this chronic disease. What they can do is to prescribe many drugs to deal with the symptom, okay, not the cause. And a few decades ago, people think about return to nature, okay, because 100 years ago, we used this holistic approach. All of a sudden, with the Western medicine, we change. And eventually become a cause problem with this aging, age-related diseases. Okay? Why not just return to nature? That is, instead of using only Western medicine, so we also go back to traditional medicine, including Chinese medicine. I have to say that Chinese medicine among the traditional medicine, like Arabian medicine, Ayurvedic medicine, is the most well-documented traditional medicine with all literature, well-documented theory, okay, to guide the practices of Chinese medicine. That's the important part, okay? Not only because I'm Chinese, because we just compare. This is the best system, okay, to work on, to follow. Even though some of the theory cannot be easily understood by modern people or people educated by modern medicine. But if you follow the principle to treat diseases, to prevent diseases, it works. One example, acupuncture. Up till now, there's no physical presence of meridian in the body. But acupuncture is the first approach or methodology approved by the US to be practiced by Western doctors. The reason is that when President Nixon visited China in 1970 something, in addition to bring the ping pong diplomacy, he also tried to observe the acupuncture. At that time, the Secretary of the State tried the acupuncture, find it work. And also, the President observed in a hospital a patient undergoing a surgery without doing anesthesia. The doctor just do the acupuncture and work on cut open the abdomen. No anesthesia. And that's a perfect proof of the presence of meridian. Okay? It's just up to the present technology. We cannot find what is meridian in terms of structure in the body. Of course, there's some postulation, but still unclear. Okay, go back. Okay, Chinese medicine is just like a treasure. I produced this 20 years ago, the slide. Okay? You see different Chinese medicine here. It's just like a treasure box full of gold bar. And if you can dig into that treasure, that would be a good benefit for promoting health. And that's why we work on Chinese medicine. This slide 20 years ago, produced by professional people, because based on that slide, I sell my research to different companies, including Lee Kum-Kee. As a result of this beautiful slide, they accept my approach. Now you see something there. It's my invention 18 years ago, okay? And based on the belief that if we want to produce health products, to promote health, to prevent health, age-related disease, we turn to nature. One important approach is traditional Chinese medicine. Dig into the treasure. Take out even one gold bar would be enough. So this is called treasure. Chinese called 宝. What is 华语？怎么讲？ My interpretation is a little bit based on Cantonese. This is called 宝. Supplement. Okay. What is 宝? 宝, as I say, two categories of Chinese medicine. Herbal medicine. One category is for 宝, promoting health. The other is for therapeutic treatment of diseases. Now we focus on 宝. In English, supplement. Not exactly the meaning of 宝, okay? Then what is 宝? Now come to the most important part of this lecture of 宝. Try to explain what is 宝. Okay. In Chinese, according to Chinese medicine, when you suffer from some kind of deficiency, 虚啊,虛, you need to 補. Okay, deficiency. And in Western medicine, you say, oh, you are in sub-healthy status. You are not healthy. You are a little bit unhealthy, but not sick yet. This is called sub-healthy. Okay, look at the cause of deficiency. It could be due to genetic factors. You're born with deficiency. That's very bad. Okay, but there's a solution. You need to go acquire environmental. You don't have a healthy lifestyle. Okay, then you have a deficiency in certain kind. The third factor, very obvious, aging. When you are 25 years old, you behave like a cow, okay, very strong. When you are 55, you go down the hill. And further, aging is one of the main factors of deficiency when we get age. It's just very simple. Our function decline, okay, with age. Okay, what we can do about it? Okay, in Chinese medicine, we have a complete theory or method to deal with this deficiency. Okay, supplementation with the tonic herbs. Okay, And this supplementation is something like you enhance the physiological function of the body. This is something different or absent in Western medicine. In Western medicine, you take, for example, vitamin. You don't enhance your physiological function. You just give the body something that is needed for the normal function. Right? You don't give extra. But in Chinese medicine, take one example, ginseng. Okay, even though we use ginseng in other things, but ginseng is well documented can promote the function of the heart. Okay, that's the difference. So when you are deficient, or body suffer from deficiency, then you use the herbs to promote or to restore the function and even enhance the function. Okay, okay, there's different kind method for supplementation depending on what kind of deficiency a person suffers from. A person may suffer from different kind or several kind of deficiency. Okay, not a single kind. Okay, a person can suffer from yang and qi deficiency, blood or yin deficiency. Wow. Yin and yang, blood and qi. You read it, very simple. You try to think about what is yang and yin. Very difficult. What is that? Very abstract. Okay? And it is our objective to try to explain all this abstract theory in terms of Western medicine. Okay, through our work, research, we now think that yang, we have evidence to support that yang and qi, we want to promote yang and qi. It's something to do with energy metabolism, or the ability of the cell to produce energy. Do you think energy is important for individual human being? If you want to take an analogy, energy is as important as your money in your wallet. The cell only needs energy. In human, we always say money is not everything. But without money, you cannot do anything. Right? Because human has higher level of thinking. Money cannot buy what? Love. Money cannot buy what? Health. So money is not everything, but without money you cannot do anything. But in the cell, I study biochemistry. I understand body function at cellular level. If the cell is healthy, your tissue, your organ is healthy, your body is healthy. So we have to work at the fundamental level. How to make a cell healthy, happy, enable the cell to produce enough energy. Then that's what? That's yang and qi. We have evidence. Evidence means scientific evidence obtained by experimental studies, substantiated by publication in international referee journal. This is what we call evidence. Okay? That yang and qi is related to this bioenergy production. Then what is yin and blood? Okay, yin first, okay. Yin is about the nutrients, the material basis of our function. The blood, the immune function, white blood cell, right? Then the subcategory of qi and blood related to neuroendocrinological modulation. So basically, our body is regulated by the brain and endocrine system to maintain a state called homeostasis. We have to keep our internal environment stable. Otherwise, you will be in big trouble. And if you take the herbs, say in the blood and qi category, basically those herbs work on this neuroendocrinological system to help the body to maintain homeostasis. Okay, go back to the immune function. And also, the immune function already explained. This is the main defensive system in our body. When we evolve from lower level organisms during the course of evolution. Otherwise, we cannot survive in this environment full of challenges. And something related to the yang bioenergy production, that is antioxidation. As I already talked about it, when we generate energy in the cell, there's a powerhouse in the cell. Just like we generate power, electricity, in a power plant. In addition to electricity, what it produces? Polluted air, exhausted. In the cell, the same. Instead of produce polluted, exhausted air, in the cell produce free radical during the energy production. And that's why the cell, all the cells, utilize oxygen to produce energy, need an antioxidant system. Antioxidant means to neutralize the free radical produced during energy generation. And that's why yang also involve antioxidation. So together with antioxidation and immune system, these are two important defense systems. One against the free radical, the other against the invading evils, okay, microorganisms. If both systems are in good shape, basically you are healthy, okay, and also your aging process could be retarded. Because one leading theory in aging is called free radical theory of aging. When we get age, we're getting rusty. Okay, imagine when you get rusty, your organ cannot function normally. When your DNA becomes rusty, what will happen? Eventually, it will generate cancer. Okay, so this is just to tell you important. Okay, according to this, the approach in Chinese medicine to deal with deficiency, what we call is PU'ER. Then we have different categories of herbs, and if we try to put it in a Western medicine context, it's just like antioxidation, immune modulation. For immune system, we don't just say about stimulate the immune system. We say modulation. If the immune system is too active, like in the autoimmune disease, we have to suppress it. When it's too low, you have to stimulate. So we talk immunomodulation. Okay. So antioxidation is very straightforward, but how to do the antioxidation is another business. Okay, important thing to consider. Okay, as I mentioned, okay, based on this theoretical framework, yang and yin, qi and blood. So due to the limitation of time, I mean my own time, okay, I cannot work for that long, right? Within my career in the university, what I can focus is on yin, yang, and yin, two more fundamental aspects of the tonic herbs. So if we can work out what is yang, what is yin in Western medicine, and able to document what is yang in terms of pharmacological action, how the yang herb work on the cell or tissue, okay, and produce the beneficial effect, how the yin herb produce the beneficial effect, and that will serve a very important purpose, that is building a bridge, okay, even stronger than the Golden Gate Bridge between Chinese medicine and Western medicine to enhance the communication, right? For people living outside mainland China, or even for the younger generation in mainland China, there's no need to about traditional Chinese medicine. You need to bring in the modern language to explain this yang and yin field, to convince them, okay, to use Chinese herbal medicine to promote Chinese medicine in mainland China and also over the world, for only one objective, just like my research, for the betterment of mankind. 21st century is the century for health business. Okay? It's a lot of room to improve. In terms of technology, everybody get an iPhone. Eventually, what you can do is build an iPhone in your tooth. Okay, you don't have to carry it. But this does not do any good on your health. Okay? Only we focus on working a more effective way of preventing health, promoting health, that will benefit the society. In particularly in an aging population. Imagine 20 years from now, if I still look the same, that will be a big success. Not appearance, the body condition, right? The stamina, energy, that's important. That's important, what we call extending the health span, not just extending the lifespan. Health is important. Okay, so I want to spend a little bit time on some of our findings. That is the pharmacological basis of yang and yin Chinese herbs. Okay, pharmacology means, okay, you use Western medicine approach to study how these yang and yin herbs work on the animal or the cell to produce certain beneficial effects. And that's the way that could be accepted by Western medicine, right? In Chinese medicine, you don't have to do experiments. You just say, okay, give it to a person and then the person feels good. But that could not be documented or can hardly be documented and convincing. Okay, so we take this pharmacological approach to try to demonstrate what is the pharmacological basis of yang and yin Chinese tonic herbs. How do they produce beneficial effect? What kind of beneficial effect they produce in promoting health? And more important is how those related to the so-called anti-aging effect. So anti-aging, by definition, is wrong. If anti-aging is correct or is possible, that means a person, if they can find an anti-aging method, they can he or she can live forever. No more aging. But as far as the current science is concerned, aging could not be prevented. Aging is a natural process. Very simple. Aging is a cause of living. You live, and then you age. It's a cause and consequence relationship. It's very difficult to separate. If you don't want to age, the only way is that you don't live. That means you die. So, very difficult. But now we change. In Chinese, we already changed. It's anti-aging. But in English, we see, wow, it's very catchy. Right? Anti-aging. But to be accurate, say retarding the aging process. That is, prevent the occurrence of age-associated diseases. That's the objective. Okay, tell you a little bit about what is yang, or what yang tonics can do. Yang tonic can actually enhance the energy status of the body. Yang, okay? Man is always saying it's yang. Male is more energetic. But it's not saying that female does not need yang. No yang, that means no energy. Okay, everybody needs energy. It's just yang is more dominant in male. Okay. So yang is manifest as body function. That means if your yang is deficient, that means your body cannot function optimally. Your body function decline. Why? Because no energy. All the body function is energized by energy produced in the cell at the cellular level. Okay, where the energy comes from? This is mitochondria. Mitochondria. This is a cell. Different kind of cell. They contain different mitochondria. Mitochondria is called a powerhouse of the cell. Powerhouse means generator. Okay, energy generated in terms of ATP production. So we call aerobic energy metabolism. That means the generation of ATP needs the presence of oxygen. So that means oxygen is required to generate energy from this powerhouse called mitochondria. And at the same time, free radical also generate. Okay. And okay, let's look into more detail how this process should be done. So glucose, everybody knows what's glucose. You have carbohydrate, you eat rice, bread, will be digested into glucose, and this glucose will be undergo a serious chemical reaction inside the cell, and then eventually some molecule will go into this mitochondria and undergo what we call, first of all, PCA cycle, Krebs cycle. Okay, don't worry about it if you forgot them all. Chemical reaction eventually will generate some high energy electron. And those electrons will flow along the mitochondria, and the energy of this high energy electron will be harnessed to generate ATP. So, just like, I don't know whether there's any hydroelectricity in Malaysia. Hydro. Yes. You have waterfall, water kept at a high level and go down, and this potential energy will be captured and then drive the generator and generate electricity. Actually, everything under the universe works in the same principle. In the cell, you burn the glucose and generate high energy electron. Just like the water, you bring it to the high level. And this electron will go down a gradient and eventually will generate ATP. So what is ATP? Just RM. Is it Malaysian RM? RM. I come from Hong Kong. HKD. You come from US, USD. But in the cell, ATP. Money. When you want to produce cell function, you use ATP. Okay? That's the same idea. So, at the same time, when you generate ATP, generate electricity, it will produce pollutant. Okay? And under normal condition, that means when you're healthy, when you're young, your generator, when the electron flow and generate ATP, the electron will react with oxygen, and the oxygen will become water. This is normal. Most of the electron will react with oxygen, generate water. Water is harmless, okay? At the same time, a very small percentage of electron will generate free radical, okay? Like superoxide radical and hydroxy radical. Those free radicals, I try to explain how reactive is free radical, okay? Just like saying, free radical are what we call electron thirsty. When you are thirsty, what will you do? Which cup is mine? Okay. This one? When you're thirsty, you drink some PU'ER. When the more electron, what happened? Sorry. Is that going or put back? Back to backwards. Too excited. Okay. Okay. Those free radicals are electron thirsty. They will try to, whenever they see a molecule, they will grab an electron from a molecule. When a molecule loses an electron, it becomes oxidized. That means rusty. And that's how the damage can produce. And if the cell becomes rusty, then the problem will arise. And this normal condition, that means only a small amount of free radical produced. And the cell can deal with it, can neutralize this free radical by its own electro antioxidant system. Why there's an electro antioxidant system to deal with the free radical? The answer is very obvious. Without this antioxidant system, all of us won't be here. Because when our early ancestor, like a fish, okay, like creature, go to the land from the sea, they start using oxygen, more oxygen to generate more energy. They have to deal with the free radical. So why we can survive for so many years, okay, still here, for those organisms using oxygen for energy mechanics, because we have an antioxidant system to deal with this free radical. Neutralize, no problem. But when you get age, this system declines. And at the same time, the free radical may make this machine, this powerhouse rusty. Imagine when a car getting old, the engine is not working very efficient. It will produce a lot of exhaust gas. May not even pass the regulation, right? So that's why when the generator become rusty or when an individual become aged, it will generate more free radical during the energy generating process. And this increased amount of free radical may not be able to cope with by the natural antioxidant defense. And that's when the problem arises. Okay? And more free radical become uncontrollable and the cell become more oxidized. And then disease occurs. Like neurodegeneration disease I mentioned, diabetic complication, cardiovascular diseases, liver diseases. Okay? All these are related to free radical, particularly related to the free radical generated from the powerhouse, the mitochondria. So this is some kind of indirect evidence to support, okay, this free radical related can cause aging. Okay. So one thing I want to emphasize, everybody know what is diabetes. But the most troublesome about diabetes is its complication. All these diabetic complications are related to free radical. That means if your body cannot control your blood glucose properly, free radical will be generated in the blood vessel. You look at all these diabetic complications, all related to blood vessel. If it is micro, small blood vessel, then you got kidney failure. Big blood vessel, you get coronary heart disease. Okay, those diseases, heart failure and coronary heart disease, and also neuropathic disorders, all are related to the blood vessel and closely associated with diabetic complication. Okay, with all this theoretical background, now you learn that, oh, the culprit of age-associated disease is the free radical generated from the mitochondria. And this process is unavoidable because we need to generate energy. No energy, that means you're dead. So over the past few decades, there's a promotion of antioxidant dietary supplement. Okay? This is not, oh, vitamin A, E, and C. They are antioxidant vitamin. We should take a mega dose every day in order to deal with the free radical. Then we may be able to retard the aging process, prevent the age-related diseases, and even some called vitamin B, which can help the metabolism, generate more energy. Okay? All these supplements, dietary supplements, but based on the theory, they promote this. The question arises, do they work? So everything is assessed by outcome. After so many years, a few decades, we can look back to see whether people taking a supplement, they live healthier or not. That would be a definitive proof. Very disappointing. This is only one study published in newspaper. There are so many other studies documented that just like this. For women, there's a European study, survey over, I think, 20-something thousand women taking supplement with control compared with women not taking any supplement. the results show that those women taking supplement, okay, experience low effect. That means they die normally when compared with control. That means we have the same incidence of other diseases. The other group, even worse. They die earlier. Cannot beat the mean. That means below the mean. Wow, that's very scary. That means you take a supplement, you want to live healthier. After so many years, you pay so much money. End up opposite. Is it very disappointing? Of course yes. That means that approach does not work. Now we bring in a go back, return to nature. Take a different approach. Okay? What our research indicates is that the yang herbs, tonics. Okay, we surveyed all the yang herbs. We found that all these herbs can increase mitochondrial ATP generation, generate more energy. You say, wow, I can just drink Red Bull. Okay, I can generate more energy. Red Bull, stimulant. It's stimulant. It will generate more energy, regardless whether you need it or not. It's not physiological, it's not normal. You just boost it up, you feel really high. If I drink Red Bull before I give the talk, I feel more excited. But I just overdraft our body. But yang herb is different. You have yang herbs, you will generate more energy when the cell is needed. That's very important. When you do exercise, you need more energy. If you have yang herbs, then the body can supply the energy to support your physical activity. Okay? It's not just like Red Bull, something like those stimulants. So this we have studied, okay, and not a single yin herbs can produce this effect. Because yin already mentioned, mainly work on the immune system. And also, more important concept, actually, when we study these yang herbs, in Western field medicine area, they already work out a concept called mitohomeosis, an extension of health span. Okay, they think that there's 3 ways, okay, you can extend the health span. One is cutting the insulin pathway. Wow, that's very dramatic. Okay, you do something that may do something on your body, not good. Okay, theoretically, you can do that. The other is more practical. You eat less. Dietary restriction. Say you eat 1 bowl, 2 bowls of rice per day. You cut it by 40%. I'm sure that you can live healthier and longer. But every day, not once a week. Anybody here can do it? Cut your dietary intake 40%. Not practical, right? Everybody wants to eat. So the third, physical exercise. Exercise every day. According to the current understanding, you exercise 2.5 hours in a week, aerobic exercise. Then you will be in good shape. Because during exercise, you will activate the cell and eventually the mitochondria to produce more energy. Sounds very similar to what I am talking about the yang herbs. The yang herb make your cell produce more energy when it is needed. That's why I propose yang herbs can also work on the mitochondria, something like exercise. Please don't make me wrong. I'm not saying that we don't have to exercise. Okay? I'm just saying that yang herb produce something like physical exercise. With physical exercise and yang herb, that would be perfect. Okay? But you will say, oh, I'm too busy. Okay, it's too lazy. Well, it's better than nothing. Yang herbs. Okay? And this is actually work on something very similar. On the mitochondria, a process we call, I think some of you may be aware of a term called homeostasis. That is something you take a large amount that will be poisonous. But you take a small amount that will induce a defense system in your body, actually is beneficial. And this concept is called homeostatic response or homeostasis. But we put this theory in the mitochondria called mitohomeostasis. What we do is that you make the mitochondria produce more energy. It will also produce more free radicals. And if this free radical in an appropriate amount can induce a response in the cell called antioxidant response. And that will make your cell, that will neutralize the free radical. And in other words, if you exercise, that means on one hand, you have more energy, okay, healthier, you feel better. On the other hand, you stimulate your antioxidant defense. And this process called mitohomeostasis. But with the yang herbs, we have evidence. We feed the animal, to be precise, Mickey Mouse, with the yang herbs, also produce the same effect. All this antioxidant system in the mitochondria enhanced. Okay? So actually, Western medicine, they come up with the same conclusion as the method that used by Chinese medicine 1,000 years ago, right? Exercise, and in fact, exercise, according to the current study, survey, is the most effective way to reverse or to retard the appearance of parameters in human related to aging. That means exercise, very important. But if you cannot do enough exercise, you may resort to an alternative approach, that is yang invigoration. Don't think yang invigoration is something only for men. But men like it very much. With enough energy, they can do a lot of things, okay? They like it. But it's not only for men. The concept has to be clear. Both men and female need energy, okay? And speaking of the antioxidant defense, I go back to emphasize this primitive antioxidant defense system we call glutathione antioxidant response. The previous slide showed you this, what we call mitohomeostasis, how to stimulate the antioxidant defense, and the main system is related to this glutathione. Glutathione is the most primitive antioxidant evolved when the organism start using oxygen. Okay? What is it different from those vitamin A, vitamin C, or even other herbal, some extract from the grape seed or other naturally occurring antioxidants? Those scavenging type, they may not work effectively at the appropriate site because they are not designed to use that. They may not go into the right place to scavenge the free radical. But glutathione is different. It is designed many years ago to do this work, to deal with the free radical generated from the mitochondria. So the best way to do antioxidation is to upgrade this antioxidant, glutathione antioxidant response by activate the regeneration, and also with the glutathione, you can also have to regenerate vitamin C and vitamin E. And this slide tells you the proper functioning of vitamin E and vitamin C also need glutathione. Then, which one is more important? I don't have to tell you. Okay? Once we get this working, okay, I hope you won't feel dizzy. I change to another slide. Oh, we understand the concept. And 24 years ago, just happened, a professor in Shanghai, one of the, is a Western trick doctor. I kind of contact him because he worked on a formula called Shanmai-san, a free herb formula, and contain a herb called Schisandrin. Wage, to be precise, Bei wage, north, not the south. They're different. Okay? And the herb, because I work on the antioxidation, I want to know this formula is good for the heart disease. Which herb produce the antioxidant activity? I'm talking about 24 years ago. And then I visit Shanghai for 1 week. And then, of course, absorb all the knowledge, go back Hong Kong, and start working on formula. Eventually, we find out it is this Schisandrin responsible for the antioxidant activity. And that's how we start working on Schisandrin. And eventually, we work out a lot concerning about the antioxidant mechanism. How Schisandrin or its active ingredient can upregulate the cellular antioxidant effects. But I obtain evidence or confidence from the king of herbal medicine in Han Dynasty, 2,000 years ago. What he described, Schisandrin, is Schisandrin can actually invigorate the chi of the 5 organs. Wow, I say, how can an herb can do such a thing? We know chi is fundamental. If it can invigorate the chi of the 5 organs, that means it can produce a generalized beneficial effect to an organ with the chi. That means it can do anything. But we got to elucidate the mechanism of action. Not just say the king of herbal medicine say this, then we should believe it. Okay? But this provides very strong hint for us to work on it. Okay? I don't want, because I want to show you my research over the past 24 years, it's impossible. But I'm going to send all the publication to Infinitus Malaysia, headquartered in Puchong. If you are interested, go to their office, okay, 2 months from now, after I send them the paper, then we can have a look. But I just want to make use of this opportunity to highlight 2 recent findings from our laboratory. Because we isolate the active ingredients from Schisandrin, we call that, it's called Schisandrin B, okay? And we compare Schisandrin B, that is from Schisandrin, with curcumin is from the curry, India. Each country, important culture or country, get a representative in our study. Curcumin from the Indian, resveratrol, the Greek, from the grapeseed, from French. Green tea, catechin from Japanese. You look at the literature, study on curcumin, resveratrol, very popular now. Catechin, each compound, you have over 5,000 publications over the past 20 years. 5,000. You look at Schisandrin B or Schisandra, a few hundred. My lab published more than 60 or close to 70, solely on Schisandra. But still, they say they can do many things. That's how they can market the product. But I want to do a shortcut. If you are good, okay, let's compare among Schisandrin B, curcumin, resveratrol, and catechin on how they can upregulate the most important part of the antioxidant defense, which is the glutathione antioxidant system. You see the date, 2013, only 2 years ago. You compare with 500, Schisandrin B can do, okay, enhance the glutathione regeneration capacity and protect the liver and the heart. Not the others. Not the other three. So we publish. In the way, we try to pay down the three, okay, but not in an obvious way. You say, I'm good, but you cannot do it. And another study using the cell from the neuron, from the brain. You see the same thing. Only Schisandrin can upregulate this glutathione defense and protect the neuronal cells, the nerve cells, against free radical injury. So this is very important. People now work on the Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease. They use this kind of model to show that the compound can prevent Alzheimer's disease. Now you know which compound is the best. Okay? So this is what we call evidence. I don't know why Schisandrin B can do such a big job. I don't know why the king of herbal medicine knows such a good action 2,000 years ago. Because Schisandrin can invigorate the chi of the 5 viscera. 5 means all. In Chinese medicine, we only 5. All are 5. 5 elements, 5 viscera. So what kind of chi? That is Schisandrin B work on the cell origin of chi. Okay, after this lecture, what is the cell origin of chi? Mitochondria. That's why king of herbal medicine say it can invigorate. In Chinese, we won't call it invigorate, okay? 補臟之氣，這個補。In my current understanding, this 補, we may use another Chinese character, that is protect. 補, another, that means defend against the free radical which can jeopardize the generation of qi. By what? Upregulating the glutathione system. Imagine The mitochondria keep generating ATP, keep generating free radical. If free radical is not neutralized, if you oxidize the machine, then how could you generate ATP? Right? If it is oxidized, getting rusty. So this is potent. So if we're going to change that Chinese statement, I will put a bracket. Oh. Okay. Maybe also can increase the capacity, but that has to be worked out. No evidence yet. Okay, how about yin tonic? So I will just go very a little bit. Any time limitation? No. Okay. I finished the yang, but I will go a little bit faster on the yin. The yin tonic. What's yin tonic? I already kind of explained about the immune system. Okay. So our immune system, we have the organ, immune cells, T and T lymphocyte, monocyte, macrophage, immune factor complement. Immune system is very complicated to be investigated. Wow, very messy to go into that. It's not like antioxidant. You can systematically understand. But still, we try. We know there's innate, this is a primary defense, okay? Immune system, macrophage, natural killer cell, all these cells. And you have the acquired immune system, adaptive, that means with the B cell, T cell, when the microorganism go into the cell, it will trigger the immune response. This is called what we call adaptive immune system. Innate, that you're born with that. This is the most primitive macrophage, okay? So we do a very general assay. Immune assay, potentiation. That means to see whether the herbs can stimulate the immune system. We compare the yang and the yin herbs. Over 90-something% of the yin herb can stimulate the immune system, but not the yang herb, only maybe a few yang herbs. So you see the difference, but it's not that clear-cut as the yang. Only yang can stimulate the energy. Okay. So I have this assay. We develop an assay for the yin tonics. You need some experiment as a proof of principle. At the yang assay, you can use a test to test the yang herbs. You can use a test to test the yin herbs. All of a sudden, I think of, oh, cordyceps, 冬虫沙条. Why cordyceps is so expensive? Anybody know? Okay, if you don't know, you take out a Chinese literature on Chinese herbs, look at cordyceps. Oh, cordyceps can invigorate the yang and also can cause nourishing the yin. Both yang and yin action in one cordyceps. Well, on paper, now I can make use of my assay, yang and yin, to test whether this is true. 10 years ago, we did this experiment. Very astonished by it. Cordyceps can stimulate, can promote the yang, okay, use our assay, but it's less than those herbs mainly for yang. Something in between. And also can nourish the yin, but something less better than the yin herbs. That means we have a proof that cordyceps can produce what we call bidirectional regulation. In other words, when you have yin deficiency, you have cordyceps, it can nourish your yin. When you have yang deficiency, you can invigorate your yang. You have yang and yin deficiency, It can do both. And that's why it's so expensive. But the other astonishing thing is that, I think most of you don't know, I compare the wild cordyceps with the cultured mycelium. They are the same. Then why you spend thousands of dollars on the wild cordyceps when you just want the yang and yin? But maybe for the wild one, they have some trace element. But usually you don't need it. It's not cost effective. Okay, this is one bring home message for the attendants of this board. Don't buy the wild, just the culture, much cheaper, but you gain the benefit. Okay? And all this about on the immune system, that means the yin, we pull, and we have the immune system different cell. Actually, we test on the product, one of the product of infinitus, polysaccharide. Everybody know, do you know the cordyceps is also from fungus? Yes. All the mushroom are fungus. What fungus have? Do you know? Polysaccharide. They can work on the immune system, recognized by the immune system, and then modulate the activity. We test the polysaccharide, one of the flagship products from the infinitus. Finding, wow, both the innate immune system and the adaptive immune system could be enhanced. We even test the animal, whether the animal is more resistant to cancer development. We put some cancer cell into the animal, and it grows slower. That proves the effect of the polysaccharide. That can enhance both the innate immune system, that is the system that prevents cancer, and the adaptive, that is prevent the microorganism invasion. And this is so complicated. This natural killer cell is from the innate immune system. That means every second our body has a cancer cell. Why we don't, most of us do not develop cancer? Because our immune system, I don't know whether there's any police patrol. In Hong Kong, a lot of police patrol on the street. When they see a bad guy, when the immune system, the natural killer cell, saw a cancer cell, they'll go and then punch a hole on the cancer cell and kill the cell. And those cells we call natural killer cells. With the polysaccharide, this natural killer cell activity increase. That's why it can stop the cancer. So all this concerning about the immune system. So how the immune system work? Very simple. Adaptive. Okay, when there's something, virus or go into the body, the first cell to say hello to the virus or bacteria is the macrophage. It's not just to say hello or hi. It will grab a piece of material from the virus or bacteria and try to do some identification. Identify, okay, this is the invader. And the macrophage will then go inside the cell and stimulate what we call the T cell, the lymphocyte. We say, we tell the T cell, okay, there's something like this invading our body, you better get ready and divide 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and then go to the site because it got the information, identity, just like your ID card. And the police can easily find you. And then go to and kill the cell infected with virus. Most importantly, some of the cells receive the message, become the memory cells. It will memorize this virus for a certain period of time. When this virus come again, If we just don't need the macrophage, hit the virus right away, that means you get the immunity. You get a cold. You won't get cold for a few weeks because you get the immunity. So that's how it works. B cell also, B cell produce the antibody. Do the same thing, recognize, produce the antibody, try to stop the movement of the bacteria and try to produce, recruit other cells to kill the virus or the bacteria. So now we understand the immune system actually play a very important function in defense. However, it's like a double-edged sword. Okay? The immune system can protect you, but can also hurt you. When it becomes abnormal, you get allergy. Just like me. My allergy getting worse. Maybe I have more than enough yang. Too sensitive. Allergy, and then you get infection when it is too low. And the immune system also responsible for repairing tissue. Okay, when you get injury, get a cut, it is the immune cell come and then try to demolish the damaged cell and let the new cell grow, okay, and wound healing. And you may get the autoimmunity if it's abnormal. And those rheumatoid arthritis, that means your immune system cannot recognize well and treat the cell, your own cell, as foreign, and that will cause what we call autoimmune disease. And more importantly, surveillance, anti-cancer. Okay, if you have abnormal surveillance, you have a long-term infection, the infection cannot be got rid of for a long time, and also you're more prone to suffer from cancer. So the cause decline in immunity could be a number of factors: lifestyle, pollution, radiation, and infection, or even by taking too much Western drugs. Okay. Aging, of course, is one important factor for the decline in immune function. And this is the scene. Okay, when you are, say, below 20 years old, younger than 20 years old, well, you're very strong. Maybe you get sick 1 or 2 times per year. But your immune system decline, okay, when you age, and you're more susceptible to infection, viral infection, okay? Okay, now we go to the summary. The chart, very important, okay, to understand. Okay, we talk about yang tonics and yin tonics, okay? We don't have time to, actually I don't have time to work on too much on the qi and also on the blood. Maybe 10 years from now, I come back to talk, okay? It takes time to research. So yang tonic, very simple, increase the mitochondrial ATP generation. At the same time, antioxidation. This is what we call mitohomeosis. Yin tonics, immunomodulation, and also some yin tonics, basically they have some antioxidant in the herbs. Okay, they have antioxidation, but the mechanism is different. And both the yin tonic, because they have the antioxidant, they can help to preserve the generator mitochondria. Because aging, one of the main causes is the mitochondrial decay. That is the mitochondrial function decline. And that's explained the aging. And also, it can uphold the immunity with both the yang tonic and yin tonic, and then retard the aging process. And that's the benefit of using Chinese tonic herbs, in particularly the yang and yin herbs, to promote your health in 2 aspects. Okay? Energy, immune system, and antioxidation. Okay, I cannot think of any other supplement. So using in Western world, they use plant, right? Some of them may be active on the immune system. Some of them may be antioxidant. But the advantage of using herbal medicine is we use, just like this product, just one example, developed from a formula. A formula means it's not a simple herb. It's not a random or irrational mixing of herbs like many Western supplements. It is a formula developed from a traditional Chinese medicine formula with an underlying theory. Why we group ginseng, maidong, etc. together, and together produce a synergistic action and holistic function on the body. Okay? In Western world, if you have experienced some health supplement, okay, by a company, start with an N something scheme. They have a supplement called Life something. It's just a collection of different extracts. There's no comparison of using a formula, a product derived from a formula from Chinese medicine. The reason why we can do it, because we trust Chinese medicine, particularly the usage of herbal formula for so many thousand years, is safe and effective. Okay, you take those supplements, you may have taken some effects, but it may not be as good as using herbal supplement derived from or based on the theory of Chinese medicine. Okay, that's what I want to convey to you this last message. I think we have a section for Q&A. Hopefully, I can answer some of your questions.